The new normal isn't normal. I'm not trying to create some sensational caption for the video that I'm doing right now. In fact, I actually wanted to call it the COVID special, but I've decided to call it the pandemic special because who knows when the human civilization is going to encounter another pandemic. Fingers crossed we never ever have to experience a pandemic like this. Having said that, maybe if we do, governments around the world will be much better equipped to deal with such a situation. Now, the reason for me saying the new normal isn't normal, I think I need to qualify myself because I think it's very, very unfair, especially for F&B operators or in fact, not just limited to F&B operators, there are actually a lot of people across industries, like the gyms, personal trainers, and people like that, But okay, I don't really want to go into the details of what industries are affected, but there are lots because if you go on Facebook, you would know that there are people out there who are suffering from the lockdowns. And the reason for today's video is a very simple thing. There's so much emphasis on people saying like, oh, the new normal. And what exactly is the new normal? I know, for example, in the case of the F&B industry, if you are an entrepreneur like myself and then you speak to someone else who's not in your industry and they want to give their 2 cents, of course you give them some time and they'll say like, hey bro, why don't you pivot and do the online deliveries and blah 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 and all that nonsense. Don't forget, a year ago I started a movement. It's called Sovereign Riders Singapore. It's called SRS. The Telegram chat group is still around. I've left the project, but the Telegram chat group is still around. Why? It's because all of a sudden, all these online delivery platforms are scrambling to get all the F&B boys, to sign up on their platform, and that was like a huge glut, in applications, thinking that if I don't get on, it's like FOMO, the fear of missing out. Like, if I don't get on board these platforms, I'm just gonna die. I'm just gonna disappear from the F&B industry. But you know what? It's been a year, and a lot of these, I'm happy to say that a lot of these F&B operators, they found through SRS, they found people who could do deliveries on their behalf, and they interact directly with all these delivery drivers. And the reason why I keep saying that the new normal isn't normal because it's very industry specific. Facebook really spoil market. Why I say they spoil market? They made this announcement on the 15th that from the 15th of June they're gonna make working from home a permanent arrangement or something along those lines, giving employees a choice to just work exclusively from home. But come on, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are in the tech space. I'm very familiar. I have a bachelor's in computing. I'm very familiar with all tech startups, and the nature of such work. You can totally work remotely. You can be a programmer, you can be in Phuket, you can be somewhere in Thailand, you can be somewhere in the Bahamas. As long as you got your GitHub, your GitLab, you open it, and then you can just write code, contribute code. You can build stuff, no problem. You can do everything remotely. Okay, but look, we're talking about the F&B industry. For the love of God, guys out there, for everyone out there, if you're not from the industry, can you please do me a favor? Stop telling another F&B operator to, hey, why don't you pivot and make yourself sound like an expert, because you are not an expert. Can you get a remote haircut? Can you get a virtual haircut? Can you do virtual nails? No, you cannot. So it would do us all a big favor to stop saying things like, stop trying to give your 2 cents by trying to act smart and say things like, hey, why don't you pivot? Why don't you explore online platforms? You know what? The online delivery platforms are not our friends. And I've been saying this from day one. That's the reason why I started SRS, Sovereign Riders Singapore, because I would want the F&B entrepreneur to interact directly with the delivery personnel, because these guys are self-employed as well. And all of a sudden you have this middleman who is facilitating with a platform, and they basically take from both sides. But over the past year, they say that uh, they do not take commission from the riders. But you know what? I have not been following very closely. But the truth remains, they still charge percentage, right? The commission is anything from 20%. I don't even think it's 20%. It's probably from anything from 25 to 30%, even 28%. So that's exactly how much markup the F&B entrepreneur will need to put or slap onto the original price of that particular food item, so that they actually make a decent margin on whatever food that they're trying to sell via these platforms. So I guess today's video, I don't want to go on a huge long ass rant about what is the new normal. You know what? The new normal really isn't normal to me. I'm sorry to say, there are some things that you shouldn't compromise and make, it's like such a dirty word, like, you know what's the new normal or not? This is not right. No. Human beings are social animals. We need to interact. So there are fundamental differences. I know that in the face of COVID, in the face of a pandemic like this, there are certain measures, but please don't say things like the new normal is supposed to be like that, because really, unless you're telling me that, like I mentioned, you can get a remote haircut, you don't have to visit a doctor, you can do remote surgery. Okay, maybe that's a little bit exaggerated, but all I'm trying to say is, do not force what the new normal is, or across all industries, because by doing so, it really isn't normal. And I mean, we're all human beings, so I really don't think it's fair to just throw out a blanket statement like this. It's just not right. It really isn't. Yeah, that's all.